Imagine you're sitting in Porsche's boardroom. Sales are growing. People love your cars. But just a few hundred miles away, Ferrari is doing something completely different. It builds fewer cars, charges far more money, has waiting lists stretching for months, and somehow people want them even more. So Porsche had a choice. It could copy Ferrari's formula, build fewer cars, become more exclusive, raise prices, and chase the luxury market. But instead, Porsche did something almost nobody expected. It deliberately chose not to become Ferrari. At first, that sounds like a mistake. Why wouldn't you copy one of the world's most prestigious brands? As it turns out, that decision would become one of the smartest business moves in automotive history. Ferrari versus Porsche. On paper, Ferrari and Porsche look surprisingly similar. Both build high-performance sports cars. Both have decades of racing heritage. Both have passionate fans around the world. And both represent engineering at its highest level. So naturally, people often compare them. But underneath the surface, these two companies are playing completely different games. Ferrari sells exclusivity. Porsche sells aspiration. One wants to remain impossible to own. The other wants to be attainable. Enough that thousands of people spend years dreaming of buying one. That difference changed everything. Imagine you're a young entrepreneur. Would you rather sell 10,000 products for $300,000 each? Or 300,000 products for $100,000 each? Most people immediately choose the first option. Higher prices, higher prestige, less work. But Porsche understood something many businesses forget. The goal isn't to become another Ferrari. The goal is to build the best version of your own business. And that's exactly what Porsche did. But to understand why, we first need to understand what Porsche was really trying to become. Porsche wasn't chasing exclusivity. It was chasing something far more valuable: scale. To understand Porsche's strategy, you have to go back to its philosophy. Ferrari has always believed that scarcity creates value. The fewer cars it builds, the more desirable they become. Porsche believed something different. It wanted to build a sports car that people could actually aspire to own. Not just billionaires. Doctors, business owners, engineers, people who had worked hard for years. Porsche wanted to create a dream that felt achievable, because a dream that's impossible for almost everyone can only inspire a handful of people, but a dream that's just within reach can inspire millions. Most car companies completely redesign their flagship models every few years. Porsche didn't. Instead, it perfected one car, the 911. Since its introduction in the 1960s, the basic identity of the 911 has remained remarkably consistent. The silhouette, the driving experience, the unmistakable character. Each generation improved the formula rather than abandoning it. While other manufacturers constantly chased the next trend, Porsche built trust. People didn't just recognize the car. They respected what it stood for. And that consistency became one of Porsche's greatest competitive advantages. Building more doesn't mean becoming ordinary. Unlike Ferrari, Porsche never tried to make every car feel impossible to buy. Instead, it focused on building more vehicles while maintaining exceptional quality. That meant customers could actually walk into a Porsche dealership, configure the car they wanted, and realistically expect to own one. Ferrari protects exclusivity by limiting supply. Porsche protects its reputation through engineering, reliability, and driving experience. Two completely different strategies, yet both have been incredibly successful. Imagine a teenager with a poster on their bedroom wall. If that poster is a Ferrari, it may feel like an impossible dream. But if it's a Porsche, it feels attainable. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, but one day. That small difference changes everything. Because millions of people grow up believing that, with enough hard work, a Porsche is possible. And when a dream feels possible, people work towards it. Porsche wasn't selling cars, it was selling hope. And that hope created one of the most loyal customer bases in the automotive world. But here's the really fascinating part. Building more cars usually means earning less profit on each one. So how did Porsche become one of the most profitable car companies in the world? Without copying Ferrari's exclusivity? The answer lies in a business strategy that most people never notice. Think about someone buying their first Porsche. It might be a Macan. A few years later, they upgrade to a Cayenne, then perhaps a 911, and eventually, maybe a GT3. Every stage of life offers another Porsche to aspire to. Ferrari doesn't work like that. Its business is built around exclusivity. Porsche's business is built around relationships. Instead of asking, "How do we sell one car?" Porsche asked, "How do we keep someone with us for decades?" That single mindset changed everything. Walk into a Porsche dealership today. You'll find sports cars, SUVs, luxury saloons, electric vehicles, track-focused models, family cars. Each one feels different, yet they all feel unmistakably Porsche. This gives customers options. Someone buying their very first luxury car can enter the Porsche world, and years later, still have another Porsche to dream about. Instead of serving one type of customer, Porsche built an entire ecosystem. Many brands rely on hype, limited editions, flashy marketing, constant headlines. Porsche focused on consistency. Every new generation refined what already worked. Instead of reinventing itself every few years, it perfected its identity. That's why a Porsche from across the street is instantly recognizable. The design evolves, but it never loses its soul. That consistency builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. At first glance, Ferrari and Porsche seem like rivals, but they're solving completely different problems. Ferrari asks, "How do we remain impossible to own?" Porsche asks, "How do we build the world's greatest sports car brand for generations?" Neither strategy is wrong. They're simply playing different games. And that leads to the biggest lesson of all. Because Porsche didn't become successful by beating Ferrari. It became successful by refusing to become Ferrari. In business, the biggest mistake isn't having competition. It's forgetting what makes you different. And that's the lesson every entrepreneur should learn. So, was Porsche wrong for refusing to become Ferrari? Absolutely not. Because success isn't about copying the biggest name in your industry. It's about understanding who you are and who you're trying to serve. Ferrari built its empire on exclusivity. Porsche built its empire on accessibility. Both companies create incredible cars, but they create them for completely different reasons. And that's exactly why both brands continue to thrive. Imagine two restaurants. The first serves just 20 guests every night. Reservations are booked months in advance. The chef personally prepares every dish. Getting a table feels almost impossible. Now imagine another restaurant. It welcomes hundreds of guests every day. The food is consistently excellent. The experience is premium, but far more people get to enjoy it. Neither restaurant is better. They're simply built for different audiences. That's exactly how Ferrari and Porsche operate. Ferrari creates rarity. Porsche creates reach. Both strategies work, as long as the company stays true to its identity. If Porsche had tried to become Ferrari, it might have lost the very customers who made it successful. And if Ferrari suddenly doubled its production, it could risk weakening the exclusivity that makes the brand so desirable. The smartest companies don't chase trends. They build strategies that fit who they are. Today, Porsche is one of the most respected automotive brands in the world. Its cars are recognized across every continent. The 911 has become one of the most iconic sports cars ever built, and millions of people still dream of owning a Porsche one day. Not because it's impossible, but because it feels possible. That's the difference. Porsche didn't sell people an unreachable fantasy. It sold them a goal, a reward for years of hard work. And for many owners, that first Porsche isn't the end of the journey. It's just the beginning. Ferrari taught the world that scarcity creates desire. Porsche proved that accessibility can create loyalty. Two companies, two completely different strategies. Both incredibly successful. The lesson? You don't have to become someone else to build something extraordinary. Sometimes, the greatest advantage in business is having the confidence to stay different. Because in a world where everyone is trying to copy the winner, the companies that leave the biggest legacy are the ones brave enough to create their own path. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden strategies behind the world's most iconic brands, subscribe to Hidden Mind, where we uncover the business lessons hiding in plain sight.